what are you looking forward to most of this upcoming season?
Definitely going back to the playoffs and going further in the playoffs to go versus the Warriors. I want to play the Warriors. I want to get to the Warriors. Wherever they at, I want to get to them.
Got you. Why the Warriors so much?
I mean, because Draymond talks so much trash. That's pretty much the only reason.
Playing cross-court pass is stolen. Edwards headed the other way. He will pick up a foul. Draymond Green and Anthony Edwards having a few words. Now, the one thing about Thursday and Saturday, although OKC, you beat them while they shot 60% in a game. That's true. It's only
It all started with an interception, a foul, and Anthony Edwards taking exception to Draymond Green. Draymond was talking to the wrong guy, and moments later, he was visibly upset about it, trying to get back defensively. Fast forward to now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are the hottest team in the NBA, clinching 7 straight victories, including wins over Boston, Denver, and Golden State twice. The driving force behind Minnesota's incredible run has been Anthony Edwards. He's taken a massive leap as a player, currently ranking in the top 10 in scoring, being part of MVP talks, and debatably considered a top 10 player. Historically speaking, one of Edwards' favorite matchups is against the Golden State Warriors, particularly Draymond Green. In his elder years, Draymond made the crucial mistake of repeatedly taunting the 22-year-old Edwards with the phrase, "What are you going to do about it?" Well, Draymond, Edwards had a simple answer. In the next 5 minutes, Edwards scored 10 of his team's 17 points, had 0 turnovers, and shot 3 for 5 from the field, securing a 6-point victory for Minnesota. The version of Draymond at this point, in his mid to late 30s with gray hairs and wobbly knees, shouldn't be picking fights with someone like Edwards. For future reference, maybe stick to players more on your offensive level, like Dillon Brooks, and avoid those ready to explode for 30 or 40 points. Just some friendly advice. Looking around the league, people are starting to realize that Edwards isn't someone to attack or try to intimidate. Last year, Jimmy Butler in Minnesota attempted to big dog Edwards, and he was not having it. And of course, Draymond learned that lesson very quickly last night. Now, shifting our focus from that previous game, luckily for us NBA fans, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors squared off on Tuesday night. In this matchup, Steph Curry wasn't playing, so you know what that means. Draymond Green was resorting to some questionable tactics. We're talking Khabib-type chokeholds, nut taps, with the occasional RKO. Unfortunately for Rudy Gobert, he got the short end of the stick, getting choked out at midcourt for roughly 30 seconds. And look, I hate to say it, Rudy, but you unintentionally became quite hilarious. I mean, the guy did nothing wrong. Draymond just comes up behind him and chokes him Khabib style. Even funnier, Gobert called out Draymond after the game, accusing him of being scared to play without Steph Curry. Absolute madness and hilarity, typical Timberwolves vs Golden State antics. Now, turning our attention to the on-court action, despite missing Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, the Warriors played surprisingly well, leading for the majority of the game. However, once again, in the final 5 to 6 minutes, Anthony Edwards took over, exploding for 7 points on 50% shooting. Late in the game, he made the right play, finding Mike Conley, who shoots 45% from 3, for the dagger bucket. Watching Draymond in these 2 games, I actually felt secondhand embarrassment for a millisecond, and I dare say it, kind of felt bad for the guy. Past his prime, these dirty antics and empty threats with trash talking don't hit the same when Golden State isn't dominating. Look at the actual victors. That would be Minnesota. There's something special going on here. They're becoming beloved very fast, and their overall team is genuinely likable. They're reminiscent of Memphis 2 years ago before Ja Morant had his breakout and Dillon Brooks went off in the playoffs. Minnesota is like Memphis 2.0, but even more likable. In terms of taking a leap as an entire team, Minnesota this year is the equivalent of last year's Kings. There's always one team in the West and one in the East that pops up out of nowhere and surprises everyone. What sets Minnesota apart is that they've beaten legitimate teams, not just padding their record. I mean, how many times in the Steph Curry era has he lost twice in a row at home in the same week to the same team? It can't be many. And while I won't go as far as calling Anthony Edwards Michael Jordan 2.0 or Kobe 2.0, he does have that intangible it factor. Some players just have that inexplicable quality that makes them stand out. The intangibles, the attitude, the mentality. For Anthony Edwards, it's all cranked up to the max. Right now, he's playing top-tier basketball, arguably in the top 10. And when you survey the NBA landscape for the best American-born ball players in terms of the overall future, it's really him, Tatum, and then Booker a distant third. Edwards could very well be the face of USA basketball. Timberwolves fans are grateful because in the post-Kevin Garnett era, they've had first overall picks and promising prospects. But Edwards, their third first overall pick, has not only met expectations, but exceeded them drastically. If any fan base deserves a championship, it's undoubtedly Timberwolves fans. Even during the Kevin Garnett era, the team's management was subpar and the overall roster struggled every single season. Now, looking back at the Golden State Warriors and Draymond, it might be a bit controversial to say, but this game exposed the cracks in the Golden State armor. Many blamed Jordan Poole last season, but the overall heart and soul, Draymond Green, getting older and less effective, has made him 10 times more wild on the court. In less than 5 games this year, he's had numerous dirty plays, cheap shots, technicals, and everything in between. The chokehold on Rudy Gobert was the icing on the cake. When you add Klay Thompson being a shell of himself, Andrew Wiggins' whereabouts unknown, and Steph Curry being hurt, this Golden State Dynasty version of the Big Four is in their twilight years, and dwindling fast. Even though adding someone like Chris Paul looked fantastic for the first 8 games, in less than a week, this whole team has completely fell apart, with a significant part due to Anthony Edwards and Minnesota snatching their souls. Do I still think Steph Curry, when he comes back from injury, will be highly effective? Absolutely. But from a championship perspective, this Golden State team, as it is currently, is not winning any championships this year, next year, or the year after that. Once again, witnessing Draymond get humbled back-to-back, I'm definitely here for it. And to the entire NBA, stop poking the bear that is Anthony Edwards. As always, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.